Hello and
Sadly, the
welcome
jacket is
back
not a full jacket.
to vrchat. I'm here with my buddies Jasper and
I
Slade.
have a sweater though.
They're messing around a bit. We're hoping
Wet
to have a bit
pants.
more of a chill night than last time, especially since I can't go too late this time, but we still want to do something fun.
I guess since Alex is here, I'll start my stream. So hold on just a minute.
And this will leaves the body once more. Crunch, crunch, crack, compact.
Take it and put it somewhere else.
It's, looks a little less freakish this time than usual.
Yeah, hence why I decided to go for a SpongeBob meme.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, it's a meme where Patrick puts his arms to the side and then goes to look like he's pushing something. He's all, take this and put it somewhere else.
Let's see. And there we go.
The Soul Reachers.
I'm sure it'll be more fun once I get the trust level up and I can, make custom anything.
Baggy pants.
Do you like baggy pants?
Yes.
Either of you? How about you?
Slade wears jean coats all the fucking time.
Ah. In that case, let's reverse it. Do you like tight jeans?
No,
No.
Noted.
I don't understand why those exist. It's like people hate having nuts.
I presume the legs are the focus and not the nuts.
Still.
I'm sure whatever this is won't be incredibly easy to regret. Rest in sleep paralysis. Oh, so it's horror again. Well, as long as it's not, as long as we don't have a water level like before. This says tickle, tickle, tickle. Who wants tickling? Not you then?
Well, apparently I already found the freaky thing.
Already found the what?
The freaky thing.
Wow, I'm pushing the world volume down. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's good.
Ever so slightly overpowering.
Well, it's supposed to start out as a normal game that turns into cookie horror, whatever. You even play chess? I don't care.
It is actually hard to play chess here, apparently.
I think that wasn't supposed to be long enough.
What wasn't?
This. There was a phone I could grab, and this thing kind of was near it. Voice phone. On, off.
Oh, I don't see whatever it is.
This phone actually works.
Nice.
Which means it's probably part of figuring out that whatever the puzzle is.
So,
They get your phone. I guess it's fairly hard if you don't have chat on.
Seems a bit difficult, yeah.
oh, hey, cool.
Pop up.
I should get one.
Cute. The cups are floating.
Yep. They loaded themselves.
Yeah, I get the sense this would be a lot easier in VR.
Probably.
I said we broke one.
The mouth is not moving when I eat the chip. The mouth does not move when I eat the chip. I am devouring it telepathically.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Ah, yeah, it says there's a door here that's not present. The mirror has a door in it that isn't present in the overworld.
Yep. So it's not actually a mirror. Come on, Slade, let's go.
I'm amused I look like Chapter 1 Ralsei without actually having that active. Oh, of course, it's Jasper's. So this is Jasper's movie room. His home theater.
Hmm.
loud ass music is. Sit on it.
They probably work in VR mode.
Probably supposed to actually have something that you input in here.
Right, how exactly I'm supposed to put on.
Alright, Alex. Alex, come on. We gotta go to sleep.
What?
The big old cuddle puddle on the bed.
Yep. It's time for one big bed. That seems to let me click it at the moment.
It seems to be limited to one person at a time.
It's fading out for all of us. It's fine.
Yeah, you had to look up.
Ah.
Well, I guess I can't complain. It means I don't have to sleep with Jasper.
Wow, rude. But I mean, if it was more than one, you could have also had cuddle time with an ounce.
Oh, he's gone.
Huh. Okay, so I did a fade out thing, but it didn't actually make us go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now it worked.
Yep.
I was surprised Jasper didn't have a response to that.
It will not let me get up.
I think he's a bit busy being stuck in this chamber thing here.
Yeah, you seem to be stuck in a torture chamber thing.
Do you hear thunder? Why is it always raining? What? Scared the power's gonna go out again? That would be bad. Don't worry, Mom sent me here to babysit you. I guess I'm here to crank the pump if the power dies.
Well, I've got...
Do you hear thunder? Why is it always raining?
She's just repeating it.
What? Scared the power's gonna go out again?
Oh, Callie, welcome.
Don't worry, Mom sent me here to babysit you. I guess I'm here
I
to
can't
crank the
see
pump if the
anything
power
here, and I
dies.
don't think it's my monitor.
Yeah, it's just very dark. I think we're supposed to follow the lighted path roughly.
I just want to go to school. No. End up being. Whenever I try to go play outside, my mom locks me in here. She told me it's to teach me a lesson. I feel trapped. Sister. She won't feed me either. Or give me anything to drink. Told me so I wouldn't have to use the bathroom when I was locked inside this stupid kid. I want to get out
Did
of
you
here.
just shrink?
Making me hate my sister.
Yeah, I sat down.
Everything's all her fault. She's why I can't go play.
Except I'm invisible.
And see Slade.
Yeah, I can see Slade, but I can't see
see
me.
you guys, but I don't see me.
That's, oh, I see Alex now.
We
Can you
just
see
don't
yourself?
ourselves.
Oh, that is funky.
I blame Tia.
Doesn't let us go through this time either. Oh well.
But we can warm our beans up by the fire.
I actually don't know if Rousey has any. Rousey? Nope, but he seems to agree on how it's pronounced. What's today about? This was kind of an impromptu thing since Jasper ended up having to stay home for sickness,
Very
so
Silent Hill.
we can
These are iron lungs.
actually play together for once, since usually he's busy working third shift. And our schedules don't align.
Okay.
I guess one of these iron lungs has something in it.
I'm guessing it's this.
Probably. No?
Is it the Wolfling iron?
No. Holy fucking line.
Oh, the things are glowing behind us.
Yep.
And
Nope.
skeletons or the Iron Giant, one of the two.
What's skeletons?
Yep.
Also, it
They're
seems like
falling
I'm
into the
into a
iron
pit.
lungs.
Yep.
I can see why people say this looks both trippy and terror.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's their problem now. Oh no, they just combined Voltron style.
Yep. I'm so scared of coming out here so
The path is opened.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just luckily standing in the right spot to see it. Come now, there's no fun descending into hell if you're not with friends.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to do that anyway. They kind of kicked me over stealing some stuff. Oh boy, it's the quicksand. I guess it just.
Yep.
Right, when it changes while you're busy looking somewhere else.
Hello, tiny cursed child. Oh, there's apparently an echo in here.
Echo, echo.
With to grab.
It's a doll,
Squeaky
isn't it?
little baby. Yep. It wants to go into the iron lung.
Help me, please. I
No.
don't want to live like this. Heavy. Feels like it's squeezing me. I should be dead. Machine keeps me alive. It hurts. Hurts so bad. Please, stop this machine and end my pain. I just want it all to end. Me die like I was supposed to. Help me, please. I don't want to live like this. Heavy. Feels like it's squeezing me. I should be dead. Machine keeps me alive. It hurts.
That is a very deadpan delivery.
Hurts so bad. Please, stop this machine and end my pain. I just want it all to end. Me die like I was supposed to.
Oh, it's a drawing on the wall.
And this
Apparently this
wall's
is
getting
ice.
closer.
It's Ice Cap Zone from Sonic 3. All we need is a snowboard. Okay, she turns 3D while we're in here, but 2D out here.
Oh. Whoop, forgot
Or I'll have to fly up. Oh, this is probably not gonna be good for Jasper's stomach.
Got some big people.
No kidding.
Inject morphine into your arm. No. No drugs for me, thanks.
This doesn't have any collision at all. How am I supposed to hop up on 3 speed? Wait, what are we doing here?
It'll occasionally give me the option to pick up the weird drug. Otherwise, it's just apples.
So many scalpels?
Yep. Well, I guess that's why they wanted to inject the drug into herself. I don't think that was morphine.
This is probably not doing any good for your stomach, is it?
It's okay so far. Now we have to wait for Slade to take some drugs. Oh, there you are. I don't think that was morphine.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
Also, hello, little bird blue lizard.
Welcome to Morphine Macrocosm! You must be here to find the pretty princess! The pretty princess lives inside the bubble castle. You must make your way to find her at the bubble castle! The pretty princess is waiting for you!
I don't know. After Slate,
Child this trippy.
I don't know. After Slay the Princess, I'm thinking I should stay away from princesses for a bit.
Always good. I'll off your back.
Oh,
If you explore the marvelous macrocosm, you will find the wild bear ducks out in the open. If you head pat one of them, get good luck. But don't worry, they don't have teeth. If you find a small one, you should keep it and put it in your pocket. Bear ducks love pockets.
yeah. Slay the Princess is really more along the lines of Stanley Parable. I'm told it's also comparable to Disco Elysium, but I've never played that one.
Either.
I do like how they create the echo effects.
I guess I don't notice it on my end.
That looks like a rubber ducky.
Not for my own voice, anyway. Oh yeah, bear ducks.
Yep. Gotta pat it. No?
It has no collision whatsoever.
Suddenly riding it.
Oh, so it likes Jasper, not me. I see how it is. You gonna hide in the waffle?
Maybe.
It likes whatever this is.
I'm guessing you have to carry it for a puzzle of some kind. Lizard latte.
But you can't get any of the lattes. Whoa. Hello. Oh, we should wait for
Eddie
Slade.
Lambert's house caught on fire and burned down when he was just a little boy. Eddie Lambert's mother was trapped inside the house and was engulfed in flames. The cause of the fire was an air conditioner, malfunctioning which sparked the flames. The air conditioner was bought from Sears Roebuck and Company. Could this be the reason why Eddie Lambert strived to become the CEO of Sears? Just to shut down and close all the Sears stores? The stores that killed his mother.
I have no idea what that has to do with anything.
I think that's.
Clearly, we must take revenge against Sears.
I mean, that's just good.
What can we do to them that they haven't already done to themselves?
I'm not sure we're supposed to actually go up there. Yeah, there's no collision for some reason. I think it's just for decoration, hence the tiny staircase.
Yeah, you can jump out of there. Where'd Slade go? Oh, there he is. Trying to get eaten by the lizard.
Looks like we can either
Someone
go
else
up.
notice how we're constantly in shadow?
I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. We could go. I guess we should go here first and then up the mountain.
This is Tortoise the turtle. This giant turtle swam over here to get a bubble bath. He'll fly away in the wide open skies later tonight to gather up all the sand and surround them with pillows in his giant snow globe shell. He eats the depression of others to make as many people happy as he can. I just hope he doesn't get commercialized. People install pirated movies inside it.
Okay.
This is Tortoise the turtle. This giant turtle swam over here to get a bubble bath. He'll fly away in the wide open skies later tonight. Gather up all the sand and surround them with pillows.
Just depends what accent you prefer, I guess.
He eats the depression of others. Make as many people as happy as he can. I just hope he doesn't get commercialized and people install pirated movies inside him.
I guess that dream's done.
And we just need to find the princess.
Yep.
I'm breathing.
That's fine. This is
All the doctors and nurses are missing. Please help me. Please help me.
There's a light somewhere.
Help me. Please help me. The power went out. And my brother. I can't keep him alive. I had to keep cranking the pump to the iron lung, but my arms got tired and gave out. He's not breathing. And all the doctors and nurses are missing. Please help me. Please help me. Help me. Please help me. The power went out. And my brother. I can't keep him alive. I had to keep cranking the pump to the iron lung, but my arms got tired and gave out. He's not breathing. And all the doctors and nurses are missing.
considering it's
Please
a
help me.
skeleton.
Please help me. Help me. Please help me. The power went out. And my brother.
Oof. Ooh, this is making me feel woozy.
Here.
Do I want to go up or down? Down it is.
Guess I'll take up.
Actually, over here.
Oh, it's over here.
And again, looks like there's just a mirror over here. Yep. Trixie place.
Oh, I'm glitching out bad.
Oh! I said spin around. Okay.
If your stomach's fine, mine might not be. I'm sure nothing bad can come of this.
I guess that wasn't the intended spot.
Evidently not.
Okay, so I guess we're just like stuck in the fireplace at the moment now. Then.
Yeah, this is not agreeing with me.
It probably doesn't help that it keeps rumbling.
Okay.
So we just gotta wait till it rotates around again.
No clue.
Keeps resetting me, and I keep
Alright.
So what are we supposed to be looking for?
No idea. I was fine with it turning and moving, but the constant reset was getting a bit nuts. Oh, there we go. On the ground again. Ish.
Oh my god. Come on.
Looking for it.
I can tell if we're looping or what.
Neither.
Seems like it doesn't like you looking in certain directions. That's not the answer.
Might level up eventually.
This whole area is looping.
Flying now? No, and we're on top of the mirror. Oh, that's fine.
Oh, great. Let them move on, but not me. What's the puzzle? I have to hold up looking at this. It's really not feeling right. I am on the other side of the mirror and I'm sick. So I'm gonna have to leave here. I cannot handle this.
Yeah, I did not expect it to do this kind of thing.
I'm sorry, I cannot stay there any longer. Oh, I see. That's a path to try and... I guess I need a moment here. Sheesh. Oof. What's this? The art doesn't look half bad, but something feels off about it. I don't know how to describe it. Might as well show off the model a bit while I'm looking up some things. Reminds me, I don't even know where Jasper is. I should probably check his channel real quick. He's streaming at the same time I am. Looks like he's still in solving the puzzle. In which case, I'm gonna have to let him handle that because I'm sorry, I just can't. I guess this marks the second game I've streamed where this happened. Though at least here it does somewhat make sense. It's a rather known issue that some of the VR stuff can throw you off since the point is to make you feel like you're moving, but your brain's all, wait a minute, my body's right here, it's not moving. And so there's a complete disconnect between the body and mind or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea how all this works. I just know what you've read on it, and well, it's online. It's in the internet, so take it with a grain of salt. You know how it goes. You don't want to believe anything at face value. I mean, you can take it as if just make sure you know what I mean. Take it with a grain of salt. Also, don't assume it's all accurate. Fly your own camera drone. I'm still figuring out a lot of this VR chat stuff. I really should have started this back in, 2020, back when I first considered picking it up. That would have made this a lot easier. Granted, I should probably AFK it overnight or something, just because that'll get my trust meter up, but at the same time, it might not count idle time. Back when I played TF2, I actually would hang out at idle servers for the weekly drops pretty easily. But after a point, I just couldn't be bothered. I'm not sure I could ever go back to TF2. I know I brought it up quite a bit on stream, and it is definitely an important one in my overall, history of playing games. Dungeon Fighter Online, and a handful of others have been my go-to when I'm not in the mood for anything else, but I want to play something. Those are usually the defaults. I know a lot of friends who use stuff like RuneScape for a similar purpose, so it's definitely not bad to have, but yeah. I only actually recently learned that apparently there's some controversy between streamers who use mirrors and ones who don't. I guess I can kind of see, to an extent I can kind of see why. I mean, like here, this is the only way you can see the Ralsei, the avatar I'm using right now. So, here. And the one you pick can be relevant. I mean, people really seem to like the Luce avatar I use, after all. The only reason I'm not using it now is because I've already got one here, and I felt that given the nature of this particular VR chat here, I should probably stick to the one in game here. I'm not sure how much fun it'd be for me to just do hangout streams, but then again, you might have noticed I'm not exactly the most social person, so well, there's plenty of groups I could join. I don't really exactly have friends that are part of ones that I could easily join. I'd be joining fresh ones. So I'm kind of back and forth on it. Maybe this would be easier if I got VR properly. I'm sure this would be fine if I got VR proper, but at the same time, I'm not in the best. There's a mix of lacks of interest, not in the best position to be going for something that expensive, and not knowing too many who even use it. Like Jasper's one, but Slade uses desktop like I do. I think Jasper's the only one with a proper VR thing. So with such a small number of my friend group having it, I don't feel motivated. Though again, I do think I probably should have gotten this done back in 2020 when I first felt like maybe this should be a good thing to pick. But then, because I definitely had chances, I just kind of, other stuff that was more interesting came up, and not too many people I know played it, but there's definitely things I could have done with it. Well, better late than never. I mean, to go back to TF2, I joined that well after it was considered to be in its prime. It was still actively getting updates, for the record. It's not like today where it's functionally in maintenance mode. But I still had a good time. Some friends even dropped in because me picking it up got them reminding them they enjoyed it, although they quickly he got reminded. Yeah, aside even no hat stuff, even the hat controversies aside, because hard to believe there was a huge controversy over the cosmetics becoming such a major focus in TF2, who were damaging the art's design and such. But even beyond that, the weapons stuff completely changed the game. I think this is why hero shooters and stuff decide to opt for specific characters rather than weapons for characters. Because obviously the tools you equip the character with can completely change how they feel. Well, like for Spy, if I used Your Eternal Reward, which... Actually, if... Now that I mention that... Murder 4. Yeah, those two are 100% Team Fortress 2 weapon models. That is the Your Eternal Reward knife. That is one of the knives I like to use as Spy, because I was a Spy main. Because I liked being able to sneak around on the flank easily and get some picks, but Spy is famous for being underpowered, and as much as I loved maining him in the random lobbies, I left around the time the competitive mode update. Not because of the competitive mode, mind you, just a matter of... in fact, my leaving TF2 was really never a case of never playing that game again because of X or Y update. It was just gradual lost interest, and when that update I did keep up with the updates just because I thought it'd be cool. I thought it was cool what it was adding, but it was kind of disappointing in seeing them dry up until now. It's basically in maintenance mode. Never did get the heavy update. Yeah, heavy was always meant to be the tank and stuff like Reinhardt or it's Doctor Strange and etc. But he was never great at it because he didn't have a way to reduce damage for most of the part. He had some weapons that could do that, but they weren't very popular. Hence why some felt that giving a riot shield would have been a nice idea. But to his credit, he wasn't fundamentally broken like Pyro was. Pyro needed a lot of technical updates on top of balance changes because it was very inconsistent, for example, when the flamethrower would actually hit you, because I believe, if I remember right, this is off memory, so by all means check the TF2 wiki to fact check me, but my understanding is, if I remember right, the Pyro's flamethrower is basically shooting invisible cubes at you at regular intervals, and if you're hit by the cube, then you catch fire, but if you pass through the flames during in-between those tossings of cubes, the hitbox would never technically register and you'd never catch fire. Then they change it so that the stream is indeed one continuous hitbox, so you can't avoid catching fire if you're hit by the flamethrower. Technical stuff like that were absolutely necessary for the Pyro. Pyro was, from what I can tell, the Pyro was probably intended as one of those jack-of-all-trades, not quite a frontline, not quite a flanker, but could be basically anywhere in the battlefield that needed help. But as with most jack-of-all-trades, they had troubles. Though I will say they are at the very least, a better close-range fighter than someone like Spy. Like if a scout fights you in close range, you definitely have a better shot of winning with a Pyro. Well, because for a soldier, you definitely... I guess soldier could do it too, but you have to risk firing at your feet there. Hello, Cattlebog, welcome. We were playing playing one of those puzzle games earlier, but I had to leave because, I am not used to vrchat, I suppose. After Half-Life 2, this is the second game that started making me feel, not okay here. A slowly spinning room was with constant teleporting back and forth is not good for me, that's for sure. Jasper's side is still playing that puzzle, I guess, if you want to see how that ends. Right now I'm just shooting the breeze, I guess, since I intended tonight to be more of a chill session, so I'm going to be doing that. Just because I have morning shifts at work doesn't mean I can't have some shorter streams with fun, right? Although it does mean I'm a bit at a loss as what to talk about sometimes. Of course, I do have to pay attention for when Jasper tries to reinvite me. I believe once you get your trust high on high-speed movement on auto combo, yeah. Well, it wasn't high-speed movement, it's that I was teleporting back and forth while the room itself was rotating around me, so it was not a good combo. So I had to leave. Which is funny, because part of the reason we were able to do this tonight together was because Jasper was sick and couldn't go into work, so So that some relaxing VR chat would be a good idea. We knew going in it was kind of a horror comedy game with simple puzzles, so we thought it might be fun, but we underestimated how it might be. Oh well. Once the trust meter gets up, I'll probably see about using some of the public stuff here, because I know there's some you can customize this base of your home base as once the trust gets high enough. I know there's some fun ones there, like I know you can make the entire Deltarune Chapter 4 dungeon, to avoid spoilers I guess, into yours. And by the time I get trust up, it'll probably be to the point you don't have to spoiler it anymore, which will be nice. And of course uploading your models, which I don't have any yet. I've got a few. But I'm still learning about VR chat in general. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't even know there was a controversy over streamers who stream VR chat while in front of a mirror and others who don't. I did not know there was a whole thing about that. But I guess I can kind of get it. Some tuning in want to see the streamer's model, and not everyone has a third-person camera. I mean, the whole reason... I mean, the model, the Live 2D model I use in most streams actually took off a lot higher than even I thought it was going to. I guess as a bit of a... It's been a few years, so I guess I can point that out. I originally got that model to use during specific games. For example, well, VR tubing was a theme of SMT Soul Hackers 2, and since I was streaming that game at the time, I figured it might be a fun addition, but since everyone who tuned in said they loved it, and folks who had popped in here and there said they liked it a lot more, I decided to just use it for all the games. Maybe I should have been a bit more selective about it, because I do turn it off for things like VNs, some of the VNs, like I turned it off for Notia and Raging Loop, so that since seeing your character there was the screen there was a bit paramount. But yeah, it's kind of neat. It does add a bit of personality at least. For a while I felt like I didn't really have much of a theme for streams here, but after getting some good feedback that my voice is nice. Hello Skies, welcome. After getting feedback that a lot of people loved the Sylveon Live 2D model, well, if it's unofficially Sylveon, if Nintendo's ninjas are around, he is a legally distinct Fey creature. But yeah, I'm told that one's a lot of fun. And I'm told my voice is nice to listen to in the background while drawing or something, so chill out seems like a better way to go. And it works for me since I'm not really a fan of those screamer streamers. I guess some people love the exaggerated expressions, and no hate to those streamers, the people who like them. It's just not my style. So, leaning a bit more to chill out, including some VNs where they get me to think about, even some sillier ones like Slay the Princess I've been really enjoying lately. And getting me to think too much like Pathfinder's been really nice as well. I do admit I overthink things a lot, but for a game like Pathfinder Kingmaker, I definitely actually should be overthinking things, since the entire point is, well, you're making your own kingdom. How are you going to run it? So I've definitely been having fun with that. Uh, Alright, I'll have to tell them not to re-invite me. Hopefully the team will see that and let Jasper know so he can reinvite me, because I'm a bit... I don't mind shooting the breeze here with chat, don't get me wrong, it's just the whole reason to do this was to was just hang out together, so we should probably hang out together a bit. Yeah, normally me, Jasper, and Slade do some multiplayer stuff in the middle of the week, or like Tuesday or Wednesday, but since Jasper wasn't able to go into work today, he decided, might as well have some fun here, chill out a bit, without any major commitments, which is nice. Sometimes the streaming without a major commitment is why I like to have some roguish type games in that rotation, like Vampire Survivors or Streets of Rogue. On that note, there's been updates of Streets of Rogue 2, but it's not quite done yet. The demo's out, but I hesitate to stream a demo. Again, no shade to people who make those first chapters or early access ones. And so whatever you prefer, I do play the demo, don't get me wrong. I just didn't stream it since I figured I should probably save it for when streaming it for when the full game comes out. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. I've played a lot of these rogue-ish type of games in various categories, and a lot of them are quite good, don't get me wrong, but the ones I definitely feel like I'd like to go back to do runs of here and there are a handful. And there's some I would consider, don't get me wrong, but, well, you can look at my stream history to find there's definitely a few that are recurring. Although I guess since Twitch decided to remove VODs and highlights that go over a certain amount, you can't really keep VODs anymore. So... Oh yeah, Jasper had to call it. Yeah, unfortunately, the entire reason that Jasper was doing this was because he was too sick to go into work, but unfortunately that stupid puzzle area with teleporting around with a rolling camera was not good for our stomachs. I can stick around a bit longer, but I guess I'm just shooting the breeze at this point with just random thoughts about the channel. And I guess I could tell a bit about the history. I first started streaming largely because my Steam list was absolutely massive. And naturally, I had a lot of, I plan to get to this later, or I plan to get this at some point, but I kind of never did. Starting streaming, however, even though for the first year or so, basically, nobody was watching, I got through quite a few things, like Zero Escape, Danganronpa's series. He's even near Autonoma, which is definitely remaining a very special game in my heart all these years. Unfortunately, I didn't save my VODs there. I only started saving after a certain point. But that's why I save for YouTube nowadays, so that even if it's just me, I can go back to them anytime I really want to. And I guess I should show my own content. I do save my Twitch VODs for as long as Twitch allows, which is about 2 weeks. Used to be able to save them permanently as highlights, but Twitch cracked down on that, so unfortunately I can't do that anymore. But the good news is you can still watch my VODs on YouTube in my... the link should be actually right there under my stream right there. YouTube listed under YouTube VODs, or it should be in the panels, one of the two. Yeah. I've been streaming for a good number of years now. And my buddy Jasper is, well, he also streams. He's even credited under his Twitch handle. We played a lot of stuff together, like 7 Days to Die. That was Slade's idea. We played stuff like Remnant 1 and 2. That was Jasper's. I quite like those. Sure, if you want. Since I played a variety of stuff, I know that's pretty common for people to dip in and out. Or to stick around for a game they like and wait for the next one, and I'm fine with that. That's I guess that's a perk of a variety streamer. You can stop right in whenever something catches your eye, and that's why whenever someone follows, I usually say that. Feel free to stop by whenever something catches your eye. Hopefully the little rhyme is cute. And recommendations, I've played through a lot of VNs. My favorite one recently is definitely Slay the Princess, though. That was a one-night one of about 3 hours. I've been enjoying playing a Pathfinder Kingmaker, even if it's been reminding me why I needed to have quick load and quick save very much active while I was playing Fallout 1 and 2. It can be a bit silly sometimes, but that was fun. Yeah, that's what I'm playing right now. I'll probably get back to it soon. But I used to tripping over my own words here. The way I used to do it is when I played a new game, like an RPG, a VN or something, I would play only that until it ended, which was fine until I played ones like Great Ace Attorney, which was 25 nights in a row, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, which was well over 30 nights in a row, and I was feeling burnout of those after a while. So these days I usually try to split it up. I'll usually try to alternate. Sometimes I'll do the same game twice in a row if I'm still really feeling it, but I try to mix it up a bit just because I will burn out if I focus too hard. As fun as it can be to no life a game, I probably shouldn't be doing that. And some have told me they do appreciate that just because it can give some nights to catch up with VODs, or if they like having a variety of options, it does give more stuff. And yeah, like if I'm doing one night of Pathfinder, then one night of vrchat, that's two completely different nights of content. That's something to definitely keep in mind. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. No, but I did play Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And it resonated me with... I'm gonna be honest, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot feels like a better superhero simulator than anything Marvel or DC has released. It really does feel... While it does celebrate the story of Dragon Ball, which I do have a very personal attachment to, that's why I picked it up in the first place, it also does feel really nice just flying around the overworld, seeing trouble, and fighting those enemies that clearly stand no chance against you, but they're always going to be overconfident and get smacked about. Yeah, the Dragon Ball Z fighting games are great, but, yeah, I know there's a lot of good ones coming out. I know some ones that have been around a while. I know Guilty Gear Strive and Street Fighter 6. I know, there's a lot of new ones coming out as well. Oh, they're good, but I don't feel like I can get into those as much as I used to. I used to play quite a variety of them. I recall being particularly fond of Soul Calibur during Soul Calibur Tuesdays, which I guess betrays my age. Yeah, back then, special guest characters in fighting games were a lot more rare, so it was a pretty big deal whenever, say, Marvel vs. Capcom came out, or when Soul Calibur 2 came out and each platform had a unique crossover character. Though I remember being a bit underwhelmed by but I guess that's always how it's going to be with crossover characters. Some are really going to resonate you, others less so. You're never going to please everyone with every selection, so... Oh yeah, during my birthday month in October, I also usually regularly do games that are very close to my heart in some fashion. And the year I did Kakarot, I also did yeah, that's how it is with another every game. Is that another with every game? Well, I guess it's because they notice that people love when it's a crossover. Although, more specifically, it's when it's with a crossover with one they particularly like, so by doing it, they can hopefully catch a wider net. And it can work. I mean, Smash Bros. Is still going for a good reason. Although, granted, that game is also handled by a company that can handle the games properly. Ones like Multiverses are ruined largely because WB is being WB, if we're honest. because that game absolutely should have been able to do well. That's how it goes sometimes. Oh yeah, in terms of getting close to my heart, like last October I did the entire Legacy of Goku trilogy, the GBA games. It was quite a pass through memory lane playing through those again. I've been told some like to watch me play through horror largely because I can appreciate what they're going for without being screaming every time. I admit I have, even for stuff that's funny, I have a bit of a downplayed reaction, so I've been trying to emote a bit more. If you could believe it, actually used to be a lot worse. When I started streaming, I didn't talk much at all. I barely had reactions. So it was took some getting used to and learning to train myself a bit more. But it also does mean I got a bit of an easier time talking to others, since I'm one of those people where I have trouble opening up to strangers, but when you know me, I will talk your ears off. And so being able to talk your ears off even to strangers can sometimes be a nice skill to have, especially if you're in the middle of a party situation, or which I guess, to be fair, VR chats can be a good way to socialize without having to actually go out to people while still having that same effect. Like, some friends went to Comic-Con, someone's friends went to AC. Those recent ones at time of streaming, and I was disappointed I couldn't go. However, I could go if they ever have one of those in like this VR chat here, so I'll definitely need to think about that. Yeah, I know what you mean. I should really be learning to sell myself a bit more. I mean, I do make announcements on Twitter and Blue Sky and such, but I admit it's hard to keep up with, and sometimes I just straight up forget. Partially because I do admit their reputations are well deserved, and I do try to avoid that sort of stuff. But I usually try to hang out at art sites, dedicated art sites, because even with their flaws, it's nice to go to places you can find artwork when you specifically find it. Find artwork when you can find it. Yeah. How can I put this? People post artwork all the time on social media like Twitter and Blue Sky, and new website art sites do try to be Twitter and Blue Sky, but the problem is, oh, nice. But the problem with that is it's hard to it's good for discovering new artists, and I will admit there are some artists I've gotten commissions from that I could never have done if it wasn't for social media. I'll openly admit that. But if you're after something specific, be a specific theme, like one of the forbidden tags I have in here, which is usually used by people who enjoy that subject for networking, I guess, or just a particular character like what's a mainstream waifu character? Isabelle from Animal Crossing. Say we're in the mood for Isabelle from Animal Crossing. Well, most people on social media don't tag their artwork, and some do, but not all of them. In fact, most don't, from what I can tell, don't even put text with the picture. They just post the picture, and yeah, you're gonna have trouble finding that particular waifu or whatever, or husbando or whatever, or if you want in the mood for someone specific or a specific subject. You just have to be lucky. Yeah. You have to either already follow someone who does that or hope they felt like tagging it that day, which again, most don't do. But on art sites, they're kind of obligated to do that, so it's a bit easier with them. And of course, it's nice to just enjoy things like that when I'm not doing work obligations, so stuff like that. Yeah, I'll never forget how it always felt. Oh, like, man, like when I was in my teens and 20s, I thought, man, when am I gonna be an adult? Then one day I just woke up and realized, I'm paying bills, I have a job, but traveling stuff. Holy crap, when did I become an adult? Yeah, it's just one of those things that happens. I used to play consoles, but I kind of fell out from that once I started using PC games more. Most of the games I even stream are specifically the Steam version, in fact. Although I still do play some old school games, sometimes for memories, sometimes they were classics I missed. Like I don't have the VODs anymore, but I did play Final Fantasy VII, the original version, shortly before the episode started coming out. Just because it was one I missed growing up because I did not have a PlayStation. I had an N64 and GameCube, so I missed those eras for the other genres. Although I did play the classics though with those, like Luigi's Mansion, and Ocarina of Time, and all those. And of course, I was a bad little boy when I was a teenager and played quite a few Super NES classics, including some that never left Japan through means that Nintendo would definitely not approve of. I did not buy games very often when I was a teenager then during those days, but I still played a lot of classics and they were quite nice. It's how I end up playing a lot of franchises like Fire Emblem and Tales of and such, since I normally wasn't able to play those. Oh yeah, a lot of the old ones are still around for a good reason. It's nice that they have enough staying power. They influence stuff nowadays, but it's also does remind that it's very difficult to get those and know what made them good. Like there's a lot of ones that there's a lot of games that are inspired by a lot of Super NES classics and NES or N64, GameCube classics, but not all. Few of them will actually understand what made them good. A lot of them will just copy without quite realizing why they worked there. But there's definitely a few that do it right, and that's why those are the ones that really stick with you. It's like ones like Pseudo Regalia got so popular when a lot of other or mask platform stuff like Ukulele never caught on. Well, to be fair to Ukulele, I've been told that the sequel, The Impossible Lair, is a genuinely great game in its own right. I guess that's how, even back in the N64 and Super NES days, there was you'd sometimes have a problem where the first game was the really bad one you had to just tolerate before the sequel came out, where they used everything they learned and made them better. I mean, even Street Fighter 2 is a pretty good example there. I mean, when's the last time you heard anyone talk about Street Fighter 1? That series absolutely took until the sequel before they finally realized what was the winning formula. It's one of those things that's pretty hard to go and put into words. What's a Super NES? Well, even how it's pronounced sometimes varies. Some call it a SNES, I call it the Super NES. There's a lot of things. Honestly, you could probably make an entire college course on the history of video games at this point, because there's been quite a few things behind it. Not just the origins like Pong downfalls, like the Big Crash. Ever played Street Fighter 1? Let me just say, you are not missing anything whatsoever. It is absolutely one of those where the first game is really just a proof of concept more than anything. And of course, there's all those Earthbound likes. There's been plenty of them, but only a handful have gotten famous. Though there's still quite a few good ones in there. Lisa Mori, even Undertale, possibly Deltarune, but actually, on that note, I was surprised at just how many, going through Moon RPG, a game that got an official translation entirely because Toby Fox had pushed it through after getting his Undertale fame. I was surprised at how many plot points he had taken from that. I mean, yeah, Undertale is very much an Earthbound-like, as I guess people have been calling them, but it actually copies quite a few of the story beats and even some jokes from Moon RPG. Well, I guess it's kind of neat with that he liked his inspiration so much he wanted to make sure that others could appreciate it as well, could enjoy it just like he did. And of course, despite copying those things, the fact that Undertale and Deltarune are still popular shows that he also fully understands what made them good. Though granted, it also helps he had a lot of experience from working with Homestuck beforehand. I never read or watched much of Homestuck. I had some friends who were really, really into it, but never finished Deltarune Chapter 1. Yeah, some friends are wanting to wait until it's complete, and I don't blame them for that. It's only halfway done now, and it's been 7 years. You could practically place bets on whether Deltarune or Final Fantasy VII Remake episodes are going to finish because they're both getting delayed pretty hard. Although granted, we also know that Toby Fox is doing a lot of other things on top of Deltarune. He's also openly admitted that's not going to be done anytime soon, so... Because, yeah, like I said, he was pushing through Moon RPG to get an official translation. The translation there was a fan translation patch in the work for that game, but when I was looking up, I found it had been in development for like 10 plus years. I get that's a hobby thing that people do, but speaking as someone who worked with a lot of translation patches, like I played Fire Emblem 3, Mystery of the Emblem, the original one for Super NES. I played that one without a translation patch. That's how long ago I was playing some of these. It's got an unofficial one now. Oh, but there's fan translation now, but there's also official ones from the re-releases Nintendo's done since. But you get what I mean. Whenever one is taking an extremely long time, it starts to become more and more a real chance that it won't be coming out. Like, and 10 years is long enough that I think, yeah, it's highly unlikely that that's going to become higher on the priority list given other things that will come up in that person's life. No shade onto them. I get it. Life should come first because those translation patches are just fans. I've yet to Undertale. Honestly, that's perfectly fine. Toby Fox what's kind of funny is Toby Fox said that Undertale was largely just to practice his game-making skills because as mentioned, he did work with Homestuck a bit. As mentioned, I'm not familiar with it. I had friends who were obsessed with it for a time, but I didn't. Alrighty, thanks for stopping by. Yeah. So Toby Fox was eager to try and get an original game of his own art out to prepare himself. Deltarune was an RPG he was planning to make but wasn't sure he was ready for it, and I think he made the right call making some other games first. The big reason, another Earthbound like Omori, it's a genuinely great game by the way. I did play it years ago. In fact, and lucky for me, it's one of the first VODs I was able to start saving and put on my YouTube channel VODs there, which is nice, but be warned that was when I had a much worse mic, so I don't sound nearly as nice as I do now. But yeah, because the maker of that game did not make any games beforehand, they had to learn a lot as they were going, and it caused a lot of delays because so many things had to be done, redone, and redone. Yeah. You do not want to do your dream project as your first major one, as we've learned. But the good news is it did come out and it did work out, but it was really bad for a while. It was kickstarted just like Undertale, but because it got so many delays, some wondered if it was actually a scam. And I will state for the record, while I have been burned by Kickstarters before, my sin is We Happy Few. A game that, I'd hesitate to call it bad in the end, but it was definitely underwhelming compared to what was promised. And so that's my penance is I must take responsibility for unleashing the blight on the world. But yeah, that's what burned me out on Kickstarters because it's easy to promise stuff and makes things look nice in a small vacuum, but a whole game is a whole other beast. And not to discourage anyone, it's just that you have to be wary about it going in, you know? But yeah, since it had been so long, some wondered if it was a scam, but obviously it wasn't, but it's easy to see why they might be upset, especially since if a game development goes on too long, you're going to run out of money even if you manage to get a full Kickstarter money bit. That said, I don't think in the general sense, I wouldn't think most Kickstarters are that never come out. I don't think they're intended to be scams. I think it's just a matter of the person bites off more than they can chew. Because that's definitely what happens for most of them. I wouldn't be surprised if that was even what happened for We Happy Few, because the big thing is they kept wanting to make it bigger and bigger, but the scope creep meant they kept wanting to add more and more without, which of course made it a lot harder to deliver in the end. There's many things that led to that game's problems, and plenty of YouTubers have given the story better than I can, so feel free to Google that up at some point if you want. But it's definitely the one that sticks with me because it's the one that I personally was burned by. I know some have mentioned to me they felt the same way about something like Mighty Number 9, which I do get. Not all of them were disasters, of course. Like, I know Bloodstained Symphony of the Night was considered a success and even got a sequel later. So, there's definitely some that were handled better than others, but I think it's, like I said, I think the issue is mostly that people bite off more than they can chew rather than it being a scam, especially since being a Kickstarter means you put yourself up to a lot more scrutiny than a lot of stuff that are legitimate scams, if we're honest. It's a lot easier to get away with a lot of scams than a Kickstarter, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like I said, the history of video games could absolutely be a college course, because stuff like the big boom of Kickstarter games and the big problems that came about that could absolutely be a whole exam in and of itself, because there's just so many interesting things about it. In a way, it's kind of neat still living through all those things, but even some of those are some of video game history is even before my time. Yeah, stuff like the Atari and Amiga and those early ones, those are before even my time. But I guess it does show that history never really stops, since many would consider the Kickstarter boom to have been a fairly recent one, but it's kind of a decade old at this point. Man, time really does fly. Did you know that Metal Gear Rising is over 10 years old? That was another game I'd meant to get to at some point but never did, but finally did thanks to streaming. Giving myself a schedule, I must play this for a few hours, is really nice to chip away at stuff, especially things that play to my strengths. I'm not very good at voice acting, but reading out loud stuff that has dialogue is there. A course on the line of all games should be open world, even if it doesn't make sense. Hence, also always online even for single player. Don't get me started on that. When I was playing Elden Ring, I completely ran. No, it wasn't Elden Ring. Oh no, it was a Monster Hunter Wilds. During that one, I ranted that it doesn't make any sense that I can't pause the game when I'm playing single player offline, and I can't pause there. You can if you're playing single player online, but not if you're playing single player offline. That makes absolutely no sense. Although there could definitely be a course on how every decade or so companies go, single player games are dead, multiplayer games are the future. No, it's that multiplayer games are significantly easier to monetize. Because the thing about, I love Marvel Rivals, don't get me wrong, but there's definitely a reason they make sure that cosmetics and stuff are regularly updated and with sales and stuff, because they absolutely want you to lose track of how much you're actually spending in exchange for all those lovely skins. Again, no shade, I do love the game, and I might even buy some of the skins at some point, but again, that's why they're there. Or because you can spend way more than you'd spend on, say, Baldur's Gate 3. Also a game I'm seriously considering now that I'm playing through Pathfinder, but I might go through Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 first. Part of me is wondering, given I know that there's a controversy about the opening movie and which version is better, part of me wants to play a modded version that replaces the opening with a complete meme opening, just to have fun with it. Absolutely no other changes, just the opening movie is changed to a meme. multiplayer is a negative at that point. I'm fine with it if it's the focus. Like, it's very hard to... As noticed when I played with Jasper and the other... So, we do try to get into the story a good bit. We even tried to discuss the implications and stuff during our Elden Ring seamless multiplayer playthrough, and that was genuinely fun, but it's also a bit easier to screw around. Granted, it's also a bit easier because that's a PvE game. It's not PvP. During PvP, to go back to Marvel Rivals, I think they might be having too much story to that. Don't get me wrong, it's nice that they have full comics and all that. I mean, it's Marvel, of course there's comics. But, and as well as lore stuff behind each and every character added and each character and stage added, but it's also hard to appreciate how any of that is contributing to you helping save the world or whatever when you're just pushing the payload into the wall. I mean, yeah, there's lore reasons for why it matters, but it also has to be done dozens of times when you're farming a lord icon or whatever. Yeah, multiplayer is definitely something they need to be careful and needs to be handled well with. Like, I love the original Deus Ex, but even the devs admit the multiplayer was added there purely because they felt like it was obligated to do so. That was during the 2000s, so that was when Doom and Quake were the big multiplayer things, so they probably felt well, we're a first-person shooter, we need multiplayer. There's a reason all future ones dropped it. I also did Deus Ex as one of my birthday specials. There's a VOD for that series there, but it's not very good if we're honest. For some reason, my monitor had problems there, so everything was dark, and I had to put a box in front of my face to actually see through it. Part of me wondered as if I should remove them or keep them up there just for posterity. Because I could absolutely play it again. I believe I just did I guess for anyone who's played who likes to play Deus Ex 1 or likes it and wants to know what build I did, I believe I did a melee build for that. So by the end, I was using the Dragon's Tooth sword with strength buffs to obliterate those enemies in one hit. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I do like the co-op in our team games, though, that's for sure. I don't mind PvP, like I do when I'm just with me and Jasper. We do play PvP games like Super Animal Royale, simply because we work well with it, but Slade's not as big a fan of it, and I can understand why. And we definitely do have a lot more fun with the co-op stuff, hence why we did a couple runs of the Elden Ring co-op, once normally and once when the DLC came out. And I probably will try it. I'm debating if I want to ask them to do Baldur's Gate 3 or if I want to do it on my own first. I should probably do it on my own first, because again, us being together does affect the feeling of the game. But at the same time, it is a very, very monumentally long game. And it makes sense given the genre. I mean, Pathfinder's likely going to be well over 100 hours worth of streaming. Although, granted, some of that will be including the DLC. But it could be fun. My first ever Pathfinder campaign was a couple years ago. Well, it started a couple years ago. It ended last year. Run by a friend. And it definitely sold me on it, hence why I was playing through Pathfinder rather than Baldur's Gate 1. Because I'm actually familiar with the Pathfinder system from having played that game. Jasper said if I wanted to play something like Baldur's Gate, my skills should cross over there pretty easily, so that's good. And if we play Baldur's Gate 3, we'll probably... Yeah, Slade and Jasper have both been playing tabletop games for decades. Longer than me, that's for sure. So I'm much more of a newcomer compared to them, which is also why I don't really... Well, if we're honest, even with Pathfinder, I worry if I kind of got in over my head, because Magus is a very advanced class. It is a lot of fun dealing both melee and physical melee and magical damage in a single hit by empowering your weapon. But it's also really difficult to play well because you're a frontline magic user. You can probably imagine how well that goes. But at the same time, part of me wonders if maybe a trial by fire is a good way to learn. That and well, I figure, or if my characters explode because we missed a goblin trap or something, maybe that'll be funny. And yeah, I know there's a lot of different things about, like, I've heard good things about Pathfinder 2nd Edition and all that, but again, I'm still very new to the tabletop stuff, so while I do understand what the editions are vaguely all about, I don't know the exact details behind it, so might be a bit. There's definitely a lot of games I've been wanting to go through. I mean, even Pathfinder here has been on my list for quite a long time. It was obtained during a Steam summer or winter sale. I forget which one. So, you know, the ones where everyone loves to get way too many games that they'll probably never play. But I'm definitely glad I finally did get to it. It's definitely an adventure. Yeah, I do realize there's a huge difference between a GM campaign and a crafted campaign, but I don't think there's it can be good and bad. There's definitely pros and cons to each. That said, I do wonder if this might ruin some other or the adventure games going forward. Like a friend mentioned that after he played Elden Ring, he could never go back to Skyrim ever again because it just felt like a weaker version of what it was trying to accomplish compared to Elden Ring. And I guess that's not unreasonable. Elden Ring is a significantly newer game than Skyrim, but 1 year before I started streaming, I basically took the entire year to play the entire Elder Scrolls series, but I stopped before Skyrim. I don't know why, but I never got back to it. I guess that's another one I could stream, but yeah. Elden Ring, Pathfinder, possibly even Baldur's Gate 3, they're gonna be definitely not gonna feel quite as good once I play that. Although I suppose Elder Scrolls have always been a matter of memorable moments around kind of as stuff. I mean, I still remember some things from Daggerfall, and I still consider Daggerfall my favorite. Yes, I'm one of those jerks who considers Daggerfall all my favorite Elder Scrolls, and not the much more popular trio of well, I guess I can only say duo since I haven't played Skyrim, but Morrowind and Oblivion are typically a lot more popular. And to be fair, I can see why. They genuinely have things over Daggerfall, especially if you actually like to walk around in each world, because while you can just pick a direction and go there in Daggerfall, it's one of those mile wide but inch deep situations, because I actually believe it had the world record for the largest digital world in the Guinness Book of World Records for a while before I think Lord of the Rings Online took the title. But yeah, it was huge. But the thing is, there's barely anything in it. You're better off fast traveling because there's basically not going to be anything interesting most of the way you travel. And that's not insignificant, especially if you're the person who likes to walk around and see what stuff you stumble into, because Morrowind and Oblivion are definitely better with that. They trim a lot of the fat. Skyrim, where you find out dragons are evading, proceed to trapeze across the country, picking flowers and eating wheels of cheese. Yes, indeed. Then again, I cannot blame anyone who would love an entire wheel of it. Oh, gnome. I have thought a few times if maybe I should make an actual schedule for my streams, like this specific game on this day, this specific on another, and obviously if I think I need to cancel it here and there, like a work schedule change or something, I can do that, but I don't know. Right now I just have it based on vibes. Whatever I feel like playing. It's the reason some of the games like Skyrim never got played, even though I had played absolutely every other Elder Scrolls up to that point. Except for some of the spin-offs. Technically speaking, I purchased the Elder Scrolls Anthology Edition, and that's all the basically what most would consider the main titles. So the spin-off ones there are not there. Spin-off ones there are not there. Yeah, the spin-offs weren't included. But at the same time, it does help make these streams feel like I'm doing it because I want to do it and not because I feel obligated to do it. It's also why when I feel like streaming but I don't know what, I'll usually toss in Streets of Rogue, Vampire Survivors, or something like that. Just because those are fun games that I feel like I want to play something, but I'm not entirely sure. Those are what I default to, I'd imagine, even if I wasn't streaming. Hopefully with Streets of Rogue 2, the series will get a bit more attention. 2 is, it's similar in themes, but it's not quite the same, since it's more of an open world experience with a persistent world rather than a generated one like the roguelike-ish type game the first one is. So there's definitely one of those reasons to play either one. It's not going to be one of those games where the sequel basically is just the first game but upgraded. Nothing wrong with those, but that's not what's going to be happening this time around. Of course, this does also mean the sequel might not be as fun for me as the first game, but I guess we'll have to see. My younger brother did a level 1 run of the game, means unarmed attacks only, no torches because they give black and destruction HP. Drinking them gives alchemy XP, only healing food and no armor because armor gives XP. You can absolutely pretty easily do a level 1 playthrough of Oblivion, and you just have to never sleep. You can get as much XP as you want. You just have to make sure not to go to bed, and you'll be fine. Block. Blocking also gives XP. If you want all your skills at minimum, that's gonna be a bit more tricky. But I guess since by and large, the last few events are, yeah, I guess because of how the final battles are handled, you could definitely do that. I know there's pacifist runs of Morrowind for the same reason. The final battle there is more of a puzzle thing than a final boss fight, so. Well, Infinity, welcome. It's gonna be a rather short night, so I'm probably not gonna be going too much later, but it's nice to see you. Levels up when I go to the menu? Ah. Yeah, like I said, Skyrim's the one I never played. Oblivion's definitely a game I have a love-hate relationship, because on one hand, it genuinely brought back a lot of the stuff from Daggerfall that Morrowind cut for reasons I don't know about. On the other hand, you've seen and played Oblivion, right? It's a broken mess. It just works. Indeed. It just works. Oh wait, Infinity. Do you pronounce it Ralsei or Ralsei? It's a familiar, janky, broken mess. Well, as many have pointed out, Oblivion can be the funniest, unintentionally funny game, and there's definitely value in that. It's why yeah. I didn't get the remaster, but from what I've heard, they basically kept as much of the jank as they possibly reasonably could, only getting rid of the actual game-breaking glitches, so that's good. Remove the jank from Oblivion, what do you have left? Ralsei. I was wondering, I was pronouncing it Ralsei throughout the entire time I was streaming Deltarune, that's for sure. I admit I kind of rushed through my Deltarune stream, though, just because I wanted to make sure I was past the point spoilers would be an issue. If I played through... Whenever Chapter 5 or maybe 6 comes out, I'll probably replay the whole thing from scratch, bonus bosses included, and actually take my time with that one. I've looked it up, and nobody agrees with it. The closest thing anyone has to an official say is the Japanese version, since, as you know, that's a bit more of a phonetic language. In which case, it is Ralsei. Yeah, Toby likes the fan base speculating, and to his credit, it's done a good job of keeping the series relevant long after he's had any announcements for it. Like I said, these chapters came out 7 years after the first one. That's kind of crazy. Oh, there's going to be a lot of spoilers when that comes out. But then again, do remember how much the fan base speculation has been false all time. Seriously, I showed you that one meme about how after Chapter 1 came out, pretty much all the theories amounted to how will he recreate the events of Undertale and Deltarune. Which is funny, because that basically ignored every single plot point that had been introduced by Chapter 1, notably the Dark World and all that. Now, forget the Dark World. Old Chris is actually Kara, and this is a post-genocide run. Even now, to an extent, they're trying to do it. I guess to be fair, it's not like Toby Fox hasn't made fun of it. Like, if you try to mention stuff from Undertale to Sans, he pokes fun by pointing out that you've never met him before. Different timelines, same result, eh, buddy? Hey, I get with understand why Chris was all upset there. Or no one likes it when you can't sleep, especially for that particular reason. Although there are speculations that Deltarune might lead to Undertale rather than the other way around, now that we know for sure that there's not going to be a recreation of the Undertale events. I mean, some things are happening. Like, it seems like Alphys and Undyne are going to get back together. Or I guess they find each other in every universe. Actually, but the actual plot doesn't really focus on too many of the characters that were from Undertale. Well, pretty much all the player characters and the major story people, they are all new to Deltarune specifically. Only a handful are recurring, and they aren't really major. What about that? Yeah. But yeah, I guess playing through Deltarune was important because it reminded me that you can definitely be inspired by stuff without just copying it without properly understanding what made it good there. I mean, even the stuff or there was blatantly a reference to something else was it works even outside of the reference, I guess is the way to put it. The story works as a fully coherent thing, and where even if you don't get the references, the story still makes sense. It's not just saying, remember blank the whole time. Plus, 3 and 4 really did step up not just the writing, but also gameplay. So, Toby could have absolutely made 3 and 4 just fun little romps like 1 and 2, and nobody would have even been bothered by it. It would have been it's still been good probably, but he chose to shake things up in a good way. And that does come with risks. That's also why I don't really agree with some... No, don't get me wrong, he probably is using the fan bases, theorizing and stuff with his hints to keep people talking about long after it's ceased to be relevant. I mean, the Gastra ARG alone is kind of proof of that. That's been going on since Undertale, and I have not paid attention to basically any of it. But he's also not using one of those deepest lore folks where they try to use that to help people figure out, try and see what people figure out and work with the story around that. I know a friend was complaining about something, I think it was Bending the Ink Machine that did that. They basically wrote the story based on whatever the fan base was particularly focused on each time. And of course, the elephant in the room is the weird route. No one knows where it's going with that, but you can't make a different route. But even if they both lead to the same one, you can't make a separate route like that and have it affect different chapters without knowing how the story ends first. You have to... It's why a lot of the more linear stories is even like Bendy. A couple times it might seem like you might be able to make a choice, but then the plot kicks in and something happens that prevents you from having the option to have a choice in the first place. So it stays linear. Deltarune doesn't quite do that. Of course, and that said, I did get a harsh reminder while playing Deltarune that Deltarune is not Undertale, because I never. You probably if you watch my stream, you probably even noticed this, but I did not upgrade my weapons the entire time during chapters 3 and 4. That is a problem, because while in Undertale that's fine because the entire point is you choose whether you want to fight or not, that is not an option in Deltarune. Sometimes you don't have a choice but to fight. And that means some boss fights were significantly longer than they needed to be. That's also something to address whenever chapters 5 or 6 come out and I'll be playing from scratch again. Because I definitely, I'll probably get the Jevil Scythe instead of the Jevil Tail, for example, because that weapon really ages like wine. It apparently gets replaced in a later but the fact it lasts as long as it does, given it's from chapter 1, is really huge. I get gears are going to eventually fall off due to the nature of the game, but it's kind of funny you can make a handful of different build setups even with what limited customization is within the game. I mean, even Ralsei gets, there's a weapon that can swap Ralsei's magic stat and strength stat, allowing him to actually deal damage for once. Though I did also get a reminder that some guides for Deltarune are just not very good. Like, a lot of them say, okay, just be sure not to get hit because then you waste turns healing. And I'm all, wow, that is helpful, isn't it? Even Touhou guides were more helpful than that, and a lot of those were, a lot of them are basic. Let's just say when I was obsessed with Touhou for a while, games for a while, I was only really a normal mode player, but a lot of the guides are written assuming you're playing hard or lunatic mode, and those usually change up the attacks completely to new ones. Not to say there weren't some lower difficulty ones, but yeah. I was never particularly good at those, but I could at least get a solid win on normal mode without continues for most of them, which is quite nice. It's also probably why I'm not nearly as intimidated by bullet hells as seeing bullet hells as others. Yeah, the bullet patterns filling the screen can be scary at first glance, but remember, your hitbox is a tiny, minuscule little dot, which means it's actually a lot more fair than it looks. You just have to avoid psyching yourself out. It's also why the biggest advice for games like that is watch yourself and your own character. Only worry about dodging because the boss usually just goes back and forth a good bit. They'll get hit by your shots, especially if you're the kind who likes a spread shot more than a laser or something. Yeah, lasers are usually for pierce, spread shot for AoE. Although I guess you could, if you're feeling cocky, you could always shotgun the enemy. That is, being close range with a spread shot where all of them hit. The damage is usually lower to compensate being spread, but if all of them hit the same target, that's usually pretty good. And bosses are usually pretty huge. I don't know, it definitely feels like there's been some good games coming out in the general sense. I couldn't get too many even on the Steam sale for a number of reasons, but it's nice that I've got a number I'll be able to do for a while. And as mentioned, I like to just go with whatever vibes I'm feeling that day, play whatever I feel like vibes that day rather than a proper schedule, because I'd rather streaming feel like something I do for fun rather than something I do for work. Because as the saying goes, nothing stops being fun than when it becomes work. It's also why anytime I feel like an MMO starts feeling like I'm logging in out of obligation, I immediately stop. People have joked about it feeling like being a second job you have to pay for, and While that's obviously not the case for an MMO, I can get the sentiment behind that. Because if you absolutely can start feeling like an obligation more than anything, and if that is the case, yeah, it's absolutely a good idea to hard stop. It's why I take regular breaks from all of them. Even the gotchas I've played through, I usually take regular breaks. Even stuff like even stuff like login bonuses are specifically to get you into a routine of going there regularly, because by making it part of your regular schedule, it's a lot harder to decide to put it down later. That's also why I was bothered when FGO added that that limited resource you have to actually do maps, you have to actually do fights for, that you only get a limited amount per day and the cap is extremely low. That's very clearly to drive up engagement. I don't like that. It's supposed to be a fun and side thing, not an obligation. Like I said, I make sure to always take a break whenever it starts feeling like an obligation. That's my best advice, I guess, if anyone's feeling that same way about anything. It's also why I don't force myself to stream if I'm not feeling up for it. Like if I'm too tired or I'm sick or if I'm not there, I try not to worry about it. If I'm just not feeling up for it, I'm not feeling up for it. That's my mentality anyways. I understand not everyone can do that, especially for streamers where streaming actually is their job. So I can't speak for that unless I'm not in that situation. I guess I should probably start wrapping up here. I started doing a puzzle game with the guys, but unfortunately it really didn't work. I guess for the latecomers here, we were doing a puzzle horror thing with Jasper and Slade, but the game decided to have a puzzle where you were in a constantly slowly spinning room, but because of vrchat, it keeps teleporting you back and forth to try and keep you from getting stuck. So it was really making me nauseous. Yeah. And I'm playing on desktop, not VR. I can only imagine how bad it would have been if I was actually in VR. Yeah. I guess we haven't had much luck with the horror ones, because last time we had ended up cutting it early. Well, no, we didn't cut early. We went late and he still couldn't fail it because the one of the puzzles was just so drawn out. I guess if we do puzzles, I might suggest we just stick to escape the room puzzles or something like that, not teleporting you everywhere. I think we started trying the horror because of the keys game we played, since that starts as a key hunting puzzle, turns into Silent Hill and all that. And we had a fun time screwing around with it, but I guess it shows not all of them are made equal. Well, definitely have to mess around a bit with it. Find some other stuff here, because the nice thing about vrchat being as old as it is, there's a lot of things you could potentially try out with it. I still did like the FTL game, for example. I mean, it sucks you can't restart it easily, but I genuinely had a lot of fun, and it convinced me to pick up Void Crew, which is a kind of similar game. No clue when we'll be playing that, but I definitely put that in the pool for what we should be trying. We didn't play it tonight, largely because, according to Slade, it's going to require a lot of tutorial stuff, and it's basically cleared area by area like Repo or Lethal Company, and in those cases, those are very easy to go late, depending on what happens. And we can't have that. I can't do that tonight. But I guess I should be wrapping it up now. Thanks for sticking around and watching me shoot the breeze for absolutely no reason. And let me know if you preferred. Yeah, let me know if you preferred me talking from the mirror so you could see the avatar, or if you preferred me walking around doing paces like that. Once my trust level goes up, I might even be able to do a third-person camera thing. Guess we'll see. Oh, there's a lot of stuff you can customize in here, Infinity. can't believe this was a free model. This is a really good one, I think. But yeah, once the trust level gets up, I can even upload my own or even change my base area here as I like. So I'll definitely have to look into that a bit more. Alright, well, until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.